Hello friend and welcome to Strange New Borgcast 3.10 with Anne-Marie and Lilah and Peter.
Hello. I get third place after the dog. Looky me.
Sorry.
Tonight we're covering, I know my place, New Life and New Civilisations. Oh, I wonder where they got that title from, eh? Wow.
All signs point to the Vesda having rebuilt Gamble's body and enabled the transporter from inside.
Is that even possible?
I would have said no, until now.
Where did he go?
Roger's emergency transponder activated 12 hours ago. He hasn't answered any messages since. It's too many coincidences.
So you have a big recap, most of which is through the lens of time. And then you have the captain's personal log, and Battelle has been cleared for duty and she's going to start as director of JAG. And there's a surprise farewell party, which Scotty turns up in dress uniform for because he's been hazed because it's his first captain's table.
I do like that running joke. That works. and it's not the first time we've seen him in that, obviously, because he was dressed like that for the wedding. But yes, it's still quite nice.
Yes.
Oh, what the other people are wearing? Kind of interesting. Again, you've got Chapel in what looks like a Cornetto mint flavour number.
Yeah, with some sort of go-go space boots, really.
Yeah. And what was the other one that I noticed?
Una's got some kind of jacket thing on.
Yeah, that's not too bad. But Ortegas, wow. Ortegas is dressed like she shops at the same place that Wesley Crusher will shop at.
Oh, yeah. Chapel excuses herself, so she's waiting for her communication.
Oh, you didn't mention the time-travelling doctor line. Who do you think that's a reference to?
What time-travelling doctor line?
Pellier.
Oh, challenging, schmellinging. Remind me to tell you about the time I spent with the time-travelling doctor I once knew.
Oh.
They really wanted that crossover episode, didn't they?
Yeah.
It was not to be.
But, she's waiting for a communique from Corby and mentions the Vesda, and you see Battelle react to the name. And then they're doing something on the transporter, and I don't know, they give a reason, but I don't know what it is. And they've got to shut down the buffer, which of course is where What's-His-Face was. So then they see some residual patterns, and then they discover that it is Ensign Gamble coming back. But then he buggers off.
Well, he's already gone.
Well, I couldn't tell that, whether he'd been there ages ago, just went.
No, he'd gone a while ago.
Okay.
There were, I think, it was sort of residue or something, and they put the bits together and discovered, oh, right, it was left behind by Gamble when he left.
But he's on the planet and he recognises Corby.
Now, on the planet, Sky Go On.
Go on, go on, go on.
See, I wrote it down the whole time as Sky Garden.
Right. I think it's Mrs. Doyle World, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And the interesting designs they're using there with the giant floating obelisks. I don't know what you call those things. Lee wasn't too impressed. He noted on Facebook, but I thought it looked quite good. Something different. A strange new world. Gosh, who'd have thunk it? I mean, the fact is, it's just, very much in the background, as we'll find out. We don't find out anything much about the world or anything like that. It's not about that, sadly, this story, but hey-ho.
No. And they're 11 hours away from the planet Sky Garden. The civilization there isn't warp capable, but it does do interstellar trade, particularly with the Orion. So they don't have to try and pretend to be a different race. They've just got to bear in mind that, levels of technology and stuff. And Joseph volunteers to go, says he has to. Battelle says she needs to come. They'll be back in time for her to start her new job. And she says that she's felt as though she's had a belt around a middle, or she's a missing piece or something, and she needs to go because destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the plot says so.
Yeah. So they go there, and Uhura is able to identify the last known position of Corby. So they've got to go through a gateway thing, and Lance says she can do it. She needs a distraction. So Una and Joseph pretend to be drunk, staggering around while she sneaks behind. And somehow she does a Vulcan nerve pinch.
Yeah, don't make any sense, does it? Generally, humans can't do that. Data did it. It was kind of miraculous, but hey, Data was an android, so
yes,
he could replicate it. But yeah, again, they don't give a monkeys about continuity, do they?
And then Chapel went, oh, you did that or something, or you do that. And she went, I never got the hang of it. And then Lance like, oh, took practice. It's just like, what?
I don't want to know what they're doing in bed if it involves that, really. But yeah.
And then you have the engineering lab thing.
Yeah, our favourite set.
And apparently ley lines are a thing.
Yeah. I mean, at least they're using Sam Kirk in this, which is logical.
Yeah.
You know, exobiology and all that. So that's good. But yeah, apparently ley lines are a thing. I think Spock raises an eyebrow.
Yeah. And there's one of them connecting Vedia 9 and Sky Garden. So there's a risk of freeing a load of demons. Meanwhile, on Sky Garden, Gambol is being worshipped as a god. And there's some kind of ritual and people gouge their eyes out.
Oh, it's lovely, that, isn't it? Oh, dear.
Yeah. And then Kirk is on the screen. The Farragut is coming to assist.
Yeah, because he's the captain. Oh, wait, no, he isn't. We do briefly see the captain of the Farragut in the background out of focus. But this is completely illogically all about Kirk again.
Yeah.
No reason for him to be the person they're contacting.
No.
They should be asking the captain. It's rude.
Yeah, and the idea that the captain comes to help because the Enterprise owes her one, that all works.
That's
but
fine.
that could have been her saying that.
Exactly. Why are they giving all the lines to Kirk?
Then, having gone through the thingy, the away team are looking at this sort of portal thingy with loads of different writing on it. And Uhura identifies some of it as being in Swahili, which is her first language. But then Joseph said it's also his. I think the actor, though, is Nigerian. I could be wrong.
I suspect so. But
And so it's there and it's telling his story. So he needs to go or something. Anyway, he then gets sort of grabbed by Twatty Features.
Gamble?
Yeah.
That was?
He was Gamble, so he's now Proctor.
Okay, right.
Sorry. Anyway, it turns out that the portals need 2 people to work, and he had lured the Enterprise here because he wanted them. He touches something, and then on the Enterprise, Batel's sort of her head sort of splits.
He attacks the statue thing,
Yeah.
which is her, as we later find out.
Yeah. And then she has glowy eyes, and in sick bay, Chapel says she's seen the patterns before, and she does some kind of matchy thing between Batel and the statue. Meanwhile, Mbenga's like, well, if you need me to get through to another place, I'm just going to kill myself then. Goes to, and then there's sort of light that hits both of them, and there's a door sort of that separates the two of them, so that, what's his face?
Gamble?
Yes. Is thrown sort of through one side of the door, and Mbenga is trapped on the other side of it. Then you have an absolutely shocking scene of piss waffle techno babble gobshite
goes
of
on
wrong.
forever, doesn't it?
Oh, all of these hybrid thingies came together and they have race memories, which means that's why I'm now the person who's going to defeat the evil, because I always was, because time. Fuck off.
This is like the worst of Doctor Who, modern Doctor Who, that is.
Yeah.
All the talking nonsense you get in that to try and justify ridiculous plot U-turns. It's just stupid.
Well, I mean, you had this stuff a bit like this in Next Generation. It was usually Geordie making up
It
some
was always
plot.
about technology, though, wasn't it?
It was,
rather
but
than
it was
demons and destiny and, yeah.
It was still bollocks, though.
Oh, it was still bollocks, fair enough. But at least it had a sort of sheen of science over it.
Polished turd is still a turd.
I guess.
But this is seriously unpolished.
Yes. It's the grubbiest of turds.
And so, yeah, apparently now effect comes before cause because time isn't linear.
Just one cornetto, give it to me. Delicious ice cream of Italy. Delight and chocolate dream. Give me cornetto, the world's ice cream.
Then they need power to be able to go through.
Yes, because Pike and Patel beam down to Gowan world, but they need the power of 2 ships firing manually to open this gateway. So they discuss the plan with the captain of the Farragut. No, wait, they don't. It's bloody Kirk again. And since pilots the ships need to be in total sync, Spock suggests he and Kirk mind meld. Why Kirk? It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, why not the pilot of the Farragut?
But also, I'm not being funny, the captain of the Farragut's a fucking Vulcan. Does it not make more sense for Spock to mind meld
she's
with
probably
her?
better at it than him because magically she's been Starfleet longer somehow.
Or somehow, yeah.
Yeah.
Just...
Yeah.
You get a line that Spock thinks that Kirk is, more willing to try new things.
Which, really? How did he pick that one up? Don't think that's evidence from anything, is it?
I don't know.
Yeah. Plus, their relationship seems far too close at this point.
Yeah.
They're supposed to gradually grow together over the course of the original series, but again, prequelitis, they've got to be best of pals now. We get a decent shot of the Enterprise and the Farraguts travelling in parallel, though, which is nice. I'll grant them that. We get some nice spaceship effects. And there's a nice split-screen shot of Spock and Kirk speaking in unison, which echoes that thing when they're all on the phone in that episode. In the temple, we see a Gribbly entering Gamble, which is gruesome. He and Battelle begin to face off, and then we cut to a second anniversary get-together between Pike and Battelle, and here it slows right down. Boy. They have a cute doggo, and then they have a girl, at which point Pike is wearing... Yeah, quite. At which point Pike is wearing an interesting uniform. I wonder if it's a fleet captain's one. Possibly. He talks about being asked to do that training mission, then about being scared of leaving Battelle to care for him in the aftermath. There's a constant knocking at the door, and when Battelle finally answers, it's Pike, the accident not having happened. She talks about the thought of losing him changed the course of the future, or something. Really? We jump to Battelle having become an admiral, their daughter having joined the Daystrom Institute and being engaged to Admiral April's son. Then Pike and Battelle are in aged makeup, which isn't too bad to give them their due. And is that supposed to be her on her deathbed, do we think?
So.
Yeah. She admits they've been experiencing an inner light style illusion as a gift. It doesn't work. I mean, inner light was the whole episode, pretty much, was Picard there, and Patrick Stewart could pull it off in a way I'm afraid these actors can't. Gamble frees all the Gribblies. Battelle goes all glowy eyes. The Gribblies then get sucked back in the prison, and she glows Gamble to death.
And becomes a statue.
It's anticlimax much? I mean, literally, that's all it took, apparently. It was just a bit of a glow-off. Wow. We get an equally underwhelming scene between Chapel and Corby Trouser Press. And then we have Kirk and Spock playing 3D chess, and a very clunky reference to them maybe working together on the same ship sometime. I mean, who knows? Stroke your chin. And then Spock goes off to a dance rehearsal at Arn. And then, in what is a nice moment, the Kirk brothers share a drink, which I like. And it sort of gives a bit of weight to the fact that when Sam dies, I mean, we'd never met him up until that episode. That's that classic thing of, oh, Kirk's got a brother and look, he's dead. You know, whereas we've actually got to know that brother now. I'm sure he gets rid of the moustache, I'm not sure. Anyway, then there's some crud awful music playing as Una gives Pike a drink. We get a naff voiceover from Pike as well, whilst we see the remaining crew members. Maybe no one we ever loved is truly gone, because they live on in our memories. Yeah, and the real treasures were the friends we made along the way. Or what absolute guff, I'm sorry.
The journey matters more than the destination.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. Just trite crud.
Yeah.
And we end with the crew heading off pretty aimlessly. I think it's supposed to be one of the planets was on the list.
An M-class planet on the maps that Corby found.
But it's not particularly satisfying either.
And also, he sits in the chair and says, as Ortegas is fond of saying, let's light this candle. It's like, you don't all have to have a fucking saying. You can just say go.
Yeah. Well, you can probably guess where we think this is Strange New Worlds or Same Old Guff. I mean, it does have a Strange New World, we'll grant it that, but unfortunately the story isn't about it.
No.
The world is just some sort of groovy wallpaper. We learn very little of its people. They're just random spiritual aliens of the week. We have now got the Blu-ray, and there are some cut scenes, all of which are about the aliens, basically.
Yeah.
So they got all cut out. I remember the days when Star Trek used to be about the alien civilizations we met? Yeah, not anymore. It all seems rather overblown. It's because the showrunners weren't sure they could get another series after this. So I had to write it as if it was the show finale rather than just the end of a season.
Okay.
And that's presumably why they didn't finish on a cliffhanger for a change as well. But can you imagine if this had been the last episode? What a damp squib that would have been. Blimey.
Yeah. Oh, there's also that line as well between Spock and Kirk, where one of them, I think it's Spock, says it's an interesting first date or something like that.
Yeah.
Or just,
Spurk is a thing, apparently,
Yeah.
already. As I say, they shouldn't actually be this close yet. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, and just the whole, let's light this candle. I'm just, for fuck's sake. I mean, if I had to come up with it, I might go, just be like, light my fart or something.
Let's light this fart.
Come on, baby, light my fart.
No, let's not go there.
Yeah, it's just so. Make It So was a thing. It was unusual. It was a bit different.
Kirk hadn't got one, so it was something that made Picard a little different.
Yeah.
But there's no reason
Cisco
that
had one on the Defiant.
Nope,
did
he did not. I mean, and Janeway didn't have one, I don't think.
She said engaged, but Picard had said that as well.
Yes, and that
was a common one.
Feels like the phrase that you're supposed to be using,
Yeah.
rather than a different one for every captain or whoever's sat in the chair at any given time.
Oh yeah, Burnham
Just
was
naff,
let's
isn't
fly.
it?
It's just fuck
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
And just So let me think. What is the positive thing from this episode?
Well, as much as they seem slightly too far in their relationship, I did like the Kirk Spock scenes. I mean, the two actors do work quite well
Yeah.
together now. I obviously like the spaceship stuff, but you know,
Yeah.
you could have guessed that, couldn't you?
I didn't like the montage. It went on for too long. The Inner Light stuff was shit. I really didn't like the techno babble, magic, bollocky gobshite.
It's very
Gosh.
bloated in places, isn't it? It's like, the story just slows right down. It's hard to care much about Patel, even though she's been in the show for a while. I mean, she never seemed to have much of a personality.
No,
she was just somebody for Pike to care about for reasons.
Well, someone for Pike to care about, and also she was kind of O'Brien'd a bit, wasn't she, really? There was always something going wrong with her or something happening.
Yeah. Except then she turns out to be the magic key they need, which is just such a bad trope, isn't it?
It's the key to time, isn't it?
Not as good as that, no.
But you know what I mean, though,
Yeah.
isn't it? So what did I like? I think what I liked most was the sort of general interactions between the crew. They seemed natural.
Yes, there were one or two good bits, like them pretending to be drunk.
Yeah.
Guan and stuff. Yeah, there are little moments, but
Yes.
they were just moments, sadly. There needed to be a lot more scenes like that, really.
Yeah.
The other problem is the bad guy is just a bad guy of the week, isn't he? I mean, I know we've met him before, but he's got no personality. He's just evil incarnate, which, let's face it, isn't very interesting.
No.
There's nothing to explore here. I mean,
No.
far better to have had an antagonist with shades of grey that you can explore the aspects of. Maybe we've just been enjoying Mark Alamo as Gulta Cat of late.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
We've been spoilt when it comes to baddies.
Yeah, but...
And then there's the casting problem, which I think probably is the final, hole below the water line. Would this episode have seemed acceptable if they'd made different casting choices? As it is, we have the black evil guy versus the white heroic woman, which seems a tad culturally insensitive for our times.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't be in a position where people of colour can't play villains, obviously, because that's almost reverse racism. But then having the good angel played by a woman of any other cultural background would have negated the ickness of the story. I know several people reacted very badly to that, and I can understand why.
Yeah, well, the whole thing is all about darkness and light.
Light and darkness, and it's like, that's not saying the right thing about people of colour, is it?
No. No.
So not only is it underwhelming, it's also ick with it as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a proper white saviour, isn't it?
Cheers, yeah.
Yeah. And it's always been my destiny.
Oh, don't. I say, had she perhaps been a more interesting character, that might have had a bit of weight, but as it is, she's not. It's just completely two-dimensional love interest, really. I mean, there's not been anything to her.
No, not really.
Not well written.
No. So, I didn't hate it like 4.5 Vulcans.
No, I mean, it wasn't as offensive. There was a slight offensive element to it, but it wasn't completely offensive. It just was completely underwhelming, I think.
It was just mostly crap. Which is a real bummer for I'm glad it wasn't the finale. It was a bummer for the last one of the season. Although, had the season ended on 4.5 Vulcans, that would have been even worse.
Oh, my life. Yes, well, perhaps it should have done. I don't know. But anyway, let's find out what Sampo and Yona thought.
Hello.
Hello.
So we just watched New Life and New Civilisations.
What happened in it?
Thank God, no cliffhanger.
Yeah, I'm nodding.
That works well in audio. So not bad. Wasn't very cliched or predictable, and it did gather the season into a sort of bow quite nicely. But
was the bromance not a cliche?
Okay, I was getting that I did find it, maybe unintentionally hilarious when Kirk and Spock were talking like, they were about to kiss or something, or and more.
Because Kirk seems as a man who does things that others are not willing to do.
Yeah. A million /fic writers suddenly cried out in joy and were silenced or something. I ironically like that part. And the last scene Spock and Kirk had together, I genuinely hated because the dialogue was so bad. I guess we will become friends, and I'm sure we will serve on a starship together. Come on, that was so
unnecessary.
That was a so awkward 30 seconds.
But one thing that was not in that scene, but was plenty in other scenes, is the crew constantly interrupting each other's and finishing others' sentences.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. They do that a lot. And I have to say, okay, another thing I didn't too much like in this, the whole thing that Batel was destined to be a Guardian, and they basically figured it out from one DNA scan or something. That was quite a leap in logic, I have to say.
Sometimes they are very good at finding out things.
Yes, this scanner shows that the neutron flow is reversing. That must mean that those are actually cavemen from the future or something. I don't know. I made that up.
Oh, okay, because I didn't really catch. One thing that I was wondering was the Swahili language and the fact that Uhura and Benga had the same native language. So how common might that be? Two people coming from Africa, maybe from different countries, talking Swahili. But then I looked it up, and it turns out like 150 million speaks Swahili in several different countries in East Africa. So perhaps that's possible, because Swahili is their lingua franca.
Yeah.
I don't know how you pronounce it.
So I guess the text was in Swahili and talked about Mbenga because Patel was the Guardian, had always been the Guardian, and then had written the text there. I guess everything happened like it was supposed to happen, but she could have written something less cryptic like, Mbenga, watch your back.
Yeah.
The episode also cheated a bit because now it sort of showed us the future that Pike isn't going to get, but we as viewers got to see it on the screen as well. So this was sort of an alternative reality end of the series episode, basically. Where
I think we were supposed to cry, but I didn't cry at all.
Yeah, we're not really that attached to her because she's been in this sort of all the time, but still too little. One episode she's gone, and then she's fighting the demon, and
Yeah, feels so sudden.
Yeah, but yeah, I didn't mind it. Good thing that they didn't try and pretend like it was real. It was clearly a sort of vision or something. So
where does the smoke go?
You mean in Pike's ready room?
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's not real fire. It's a hologram or something.
Wouldn't it be neat if there'd be a small chimney in the top of the Enterprise and the small smoke coming out of it when they are doing their star thingy?
I'll just say yes. So yeah, after several not so good episodes, I'm at least happy the series ended on a sort of high note. It wasn't perfect, but I can't believe I'm saying it about this series. This is something I used to say about the original series. At least it wasn't offensive. So this is what it's come to. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Let's hope season 4 wraps up the series with...
Is there a season 4?
Yeah, it's coming pretty soon, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, but that's the last one. So,
you promise.
Well, yeah.
Pinky promise.
Yes, I pinky promise. Well, until that joy enters our life, hear from you in Babylon 5 land.
Woohoo!
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, just got another dog come in. Blimey. Yeah, I don't like to break it to you, but not only is there a season 4, there is a season 5 as well, although it's a shorter season 5, but yeah. So they
I love
liked
the
it.
idea of the Enterprise with a small chimney.
Yes, does that mean the Enterprise has a chimney sweep as well? I mean, obviously an ensign gets to do that or something, I don't know. Some poor red shirt has to go up the Enterprise chimney.
Ridiculous. I love it though. I mean, because I thought the same myself. What's going on with that? And yes, okay, maybe it is a fake fire, but then what's the bloody point of it?
Exactly, there is no point to it because he hardly needs it to warm the room, does he? So
no,
it's very odd.
And also, it looked like one of them homeless people bin fires from New York.
It doesn't look like that when you look at it, darling. It's not a trash can bin fire. But yeah, they clearly liked it more than we did.
Yeah.
But they pointed out some of the awkward bits, so yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Next up we hear from the Llama God.
Oh, it's like Scotty, fix this here, quick, Jake. Today, Matthew, I'm going to be a plot contrivance. Now, obviously the big problem with creating a prequel to a piece of well-known and beloved media is that there's a very real danger that you can end up writing yourself into a corner. The big problem here is that they're focusing on Pike, and the problem in expanding his life is you're going to be asking all sorts of questions, like, given what happened to him between the cage and the menagerie, how did he end up in a certain position where the only person who was able to look out for him in his life was Spock? Surely if he's someone as beloved as Christopher Pike is made out to be in this series, then there'll be plenty of people around him, but what's happened? Especially when he clearly had a very devoted and loving partner. Now, obviously this problem is completely down to the Strange New World showrunners just deciding to put him in a relationship. Because it does, of course, beg the question, where was Battelle after that accident? If she didn't hang around with him after that accident, which sees him confined to that beeping wheelchair, then that doesn't say anything particularly positive about her character. So they've got to separate them somehow. I mean, they could have just said that they've broken up, but no, because this is Strange New Worlds, of course. Strange New Worlds is a series in which heteronormative monogamy is the key to any character having any sort of proper fulfilling life. So instead we get this nonsense which has been kind of hinted at, but not really signposted in any way that this feels in any way logical or satisfying. It turns out that after all that Gorn egg nonsense, in which Battelle was clearly becoming some sort of hybrid, it was also that she'd become an immortal jailer statue thing and do her own gender swap cosplay of Erendel fighting down Morgoth. Now, I don't know why they did this. Sure, you want to give her some sort of dramatic, meaningful exit, but this, as I say, it's something they've been building to through the season with kind of something with her doing odd things along the way, but to get this sort of information dumped with us right at the end is, it just doesn't work. They have some hints where she's being a bit more aggressive, that's clearly just a Gorn, and then talking stuff that the Vesda in that episode where Gamble is possessed, but after that, there's not really been anything. It's not really possible for the viewer to really draw their own conclusions, and so where they arrive at is just weird. It does just feel really, really badly planned. It's not at all a logical ending for her character. She's a successful Starfleet captain and lawyer who decides to submit to her fate to become a living Guardian Gel Warden statue thing. Yeah, it's not exactly what I'd have gone for with that character. There's not a lot of progression there, really. What even is this story anyway? We said in that episode where we first met the Vesda that there's that wonderful bit at the end of the episode where Pelier gives that rather doom-mongering prediction of the future, and then she breaks because she's just playing to camera, and it's just a bit of a joke, really. It's like, yeah, that was funny. But this episode treats it as actually being real. It kind of says, no, that wasn't a joke. Pelier actually meant it. No, it was meant to be a joke at the time. But no, it's a real thing now. It's a real thing. We have original good versus original evil. And this just doesn't feel very Star Trek. I mean, yeah, the original series had a lot of gods and everything, a lot of advanced aliens that came to Earth and taught us about morality and all that. And of course, we had episodes where alien characters would look into human morality and the dichotomy of good versus evil. But the actual concept of original good and original evil from the start of the universe being a binary force is there. No, that's just not very Star Trek. This really feels like the finale for a season of Buffy or something. It doesn't feel very Star Trek at all, and it just feels very, very contrived. And also it seems they want to have their cake and eat it by giving that potentially tear-jerking alternate future with Pike and Battelle having that lovely life together, which we know they're not going to have. Sort of a let's see what you could have won moment, which is meant to be heartwarming, I guess, maybe, but it just comes across as cruel, really, and a bit like the Inner Light, but not as good. And the thing is, we know from previous episodes, we know from the first season that Pike has come to terms with his fate and why he has to die. There's a whole Balance of Terror redone episode about this, but instead we've got this as well. It just doesn't feel right, doesn't feel natural, doesn't really work at all. So in the end, Battelle's exit from the show just doesn't feel satisfactory, and it's going to leave a bit of a hole, and you've got to wonder, given the writers of Strange New Worlds like, what's he going to fill it with in the remaining 2 seasons? He's got to have another relationship, of course. He's got to have another heterosexual relationship, because that's the only way that characters can be happy. So, yeah, I'm not looking forward to seeing where that goes, really. And, of course, because they can't resist, Kirk is there as well, seemingly to provide even more bait for shippers, although if that was their intention, they're only about 59 years too late. The fandom community is way, way ahead of you there. I mean, there is some kind of nice stuff there. I do very much like the shot of the 2 starships dancing around each other together to achieve synchronicity. That's nice, but it's just fucking Kirk again, isn't it? I mean, come on. And of course, I can't resist adding in the line of the episode, maybe one day we will serve together, and one of us can sacrifice ourselves to the other and then lose our sons in the process of getting them resurrected from some sort of badly engineered hyper-revolving planet or something, just to pick a completely random example. Yeah, I mean, what? Just come on. They just tried to shoehorn too much into this. It's just too contrived, and it's just not really satisfactory at all. It just doesn't feel like the conclusion of the season of Strange New World. It's just really, really odd. So, yeah, not impressed with this. And then, of course, the whole end of the episode where Team Colin Farrell has found a whole set of planets they didn't know existed. There's enough for a 5-year mission. It's like, well, should that not be the first episode of this series? Not, like, towards the end of the 3rd season? Like, what are we doing here? It just feels tacked on and like the showrunner's trying to go, hey, but there's a positive end after all for Pike, because he can go off and do some exploring or something. And it just doesn't work, given the context of everything that came before. It just doesn't work at all. Overall, summary, not impressed. As I said in my feedback for the first episode of this season, I've not been impressed by the season at all. Yes, it was very, very much marred by 4.5 Vulcans, but the general quality of episodes this season, it's been really variable, and not in the fun way that it was the first 2 seasons. This has just been a bit of a slog to get through, really. And I'm only looking forward to the seasons 4 and 5 with a large degree of trepidation, really. So, yeah, we'll see. But, as ever, I am, of course, interested to find out what everyone else made of this. I hope that by the time you hear this feedback that you're feeling a lot better now, Anne-Marie. And, until next time, glory to you and your cast.
Well, thank you. Today is my last day in the cast of Doom. After which I switched to a moon boot. The day the cast comes off tomorrow might be painful because they've also got to take the stitches out and stuff, but I have had a moon boot before, and I know I'm going to find that easier to cope with than a cast. So, as Brian Cox, not that one, sang, things can only get better.
Indeed. Yes, I'm approaching the next season with some trepidation, I think it's fair to say as well. So, it does feel sort of that, like, I think it's because they thought at one point this was going to be the last episode, so they had to pluck something meaningful out of a situation which they couldn't really. So,
no.
And there is the whole, prequel problem with Pike. We know how this ends up, and we've already explored him facing up to his destiny, so they can't really retread that. So, yeah, unsatisfactory.
Definitely.
Try harder.
Yes. And you're right. I mean, there isn't anything wrong per se with exploring the idea of original good versus original evil, but it isn't Star Trek. It's more sort of Buffy or fantasy, isn't it?
Not especially. And as soon as you introduce something that is supposed to, represent actual evil, then where'd you go from there, really? It's, again, it's the problem of it's not actually that interesting either, because it's far more interesting to have races that think they're the good guys but they're not, sort of thing.
Or people behaving in an evil way, but you can understand why. So you can't help but sympathise with them even while they're doing horrific things. Things that are more nuanced and more mixed and less binary are better. They're more interesting.
Indeed.
Although, to be fair, I do occasionally like a proper moustache-twirling villain.
But he wasn't that either, was he?
No.
So,
No, he wasn't.
In fact, there was very little time spent on him. I mean, about the only evil thing he got to do was getting people to poke their eyes out, which is grim, but that
grim.
was it.
Yeah.
It's like he didn't... I don't think he killed anybody, did he, here in this time round? No, he didn't, did he? So, yeah. No. Yeah. Well, let's find out if Purry's got more to say about this then.
Hello, Orgs. Purry here to talk about New Life and New Civilisations. So this episode, I'm not saying it's a bad episode. I actually don't think. I think it's quite a good episode. I think it's quite indicative of the series, though, in that it's a bit of a rushed mess. I really wonder if this would have been better as a 2-part episode, because it seems to want to do a lot in a very short space of time. But it's also almost taking a lot of plot threads which are kind of set up in this series, but and almost try to draw them together. The problem is that they're kind of very loose threads, and so it doesn't really draw everything together, if that makes a sort of sewing metaphor work. Because it does culminate in a lot. We have what's his name, the ensign who got Event Horizon. He's back with his evil ball thing. Evil ball creatures, probably not the name for them. Vizada, or whatever they're called. You also have tie-ins to things like a little bit of Mbenga's past. You've got the Gorn stuff coming in. A bit of Roger Corby as well. So you have, and a bit of this ongoing thread that's been running through of slowly building the TOS crew as well, with Kirk showing up again, but at least not spending too much time in the Enterprise. At least he's kind of showing up with a reason to be there, even though, again, the reason he's there, and it's a bit of a 4.5 Vulcans problem, not the big 4.5 Vulcans problem, but it's that one of they wanted to have that scene with Spock and Kirk. And it's almost like they had that in mind, and then had to come up with a very specific reason why Spock and Kirk would have to mind meld. And how that's, it's almost like we came up with the solution we wanted and then had to invent a problem that fit the solution. And there's a bit of that going on. Likewise, the idea of Batel being the Guardian is actually good. Again, this is the thing, I like a lot of the things in this episode. Batel being the Guardian is a good sort of idea that, and it was all timey-wimey, but it was such a throwaway bit in the original episode. It doesn't really have the payoff that it would if it had built up over, say, even 10 episodes, with a bit more hints of something else. Particularly if they'd said what she was shouting wasn't Gorn. That would have been interesting. After maybe Ortegas' experience in Terranium, if anyone remembers that. Literally in the episode, if anyone remembers that. And likewise... and so, it's things like that I think just, if they'd cooked a bit longer. Likewise, we obviously have the huge chunk of the episode that's taken out with the flash of Batel and Pike's life, including, and it's all really well acted. It's actually a really nice idea of that flash of the future and him knowing he's going off to his death and then it not happening. And that was the rug pull, because there's been a lot of people asking, could we not undo, and for all the people who absolutely insist that continuity is solid, they then all say, but I'm liking Strange New Worlds, so if you could not make Pike end up in a wheelchair, that would be great. Whereas I've all said, no, it's good, they have to end the bloody series at some point. The things should end. But that's nice, but again, it's kind of all of a sudden a massive juddering change of pace in an episode that's been breakneck trying to get through to get all the bits in place, and then it stops for like 10 minutes for this bit. And then we're back to the end of the episode, and it's very much my glowy hands beat your dark, shadowy hands, and I win. And so again, the fight feels anticlimactic. So like I say, it's not a bad episode. I enjoyed it. I actually thought it was pretty decent. My issue is that it all seems rushed, and I know they've only got 8 episodes, but again, I have to bring this up. We've got 8 episodes, we wasted at least 2 of them with absolute nonsense, and I like filler. When you've got like 10, 20 episode seasons, when you've only got 8, it's got to be solid. And I think that's a problem with this series, is it clearly looked like they were trying to set up a proper arc that ran through all the episodes. But then someone kept saying, actually, no, I want my stupid Vulcan episode or my daft wedding, and I want this in. And so stuff got taken, right, cut that. And it just means the whole thing's a bit of an incoherent mess, which is, again, not a bad summary of Series 3, in that there's definitely some poor decisions have been made, and as a result, I think the series as a whole has suffered for it, not just because it's got literally one of the worst episodes of Star Trek in it. Season 3's definitely the shine's come off. It's a bit disappointing, but overall, like I said, there's been good bits in it. There's been some good episodes, just definitely not the it's not like Season 1 is genuinely like a series where it's just about all bangers. Whereas this one's definitely not. So hopefully we get a better season next time. Also, this one seemed to be like the last episode, a real last episode feel. But it's not, because I knew someone who actually literally thought it, so that was weird as well. But anyway, all that remains to say is do keep up the good work. I always look forward to the podcast, and I'll hopefully be back in the next one. Until then, bye for now.
Bye!
Bye! You're right, it is a rushed mess.
Writer's strike, I believe, is something to do with that. But
would it be better as a 2-parter?
No. Didn't need any more of this.
But I think you are right that they needed more seeding of this. That it would have worked better if some aspects of this had been better seeded.
I don't know. There's a reasonable amount of seeding, isn't there? I mean, this is drawing together both the Gorn stuff and the Gamble stuff. That for me, that's not the issue. It's the fact that it's resolved in such a unsatisfactory way.
It's a very odd resolution. You're right, but things like if somebody says that what she's shouting isn't Gorn, would have raised the question. There are massive pacing issues because it's breakneck speed, slow right down for the future that we know is not going to happen and don't.
Yeah, but that wasn't the first time it slowed right down, because there was that very long waffly scene. Yeah, theologically babbly rather than techno babbly.
Yeah, it was still. And yeah, the shine has definitely come off. Season 1 was really good.
Yeah, season 2 I found disappointing.
Season 2 I was less disappointed than you, but it was a bit like when we were watching Academy, actually, in that if one of us hated an episode, the other one hated it, but I liked some of the ones that you just found meh. But it was definitely not as good as season 1, and this isn't as good either.
I like the idea of them being evil Pokemons because they're all coming in their balls. That's quite good.
Yep.
And yes, it doesn't make any sense it was Spock and Kirk and mind melded. I mean, Spock and somebody else, some sense, but like you say, actually the Vulcan captain would have been better for that.
Yeah.
But she isn't getting a speaking role in this episode. My glowy hands beat your dark shadowy ones. Yeah. Well, there we go then. That was our episode 10. So next time, well, on this feed, it won't be until the 18th of June that we return to Talking in Your Ears. And we'll be covering the animated series Season 2, Episode 1, The Pirates of Orion. Yes, I did say Orion, because that's what they're called for some reason, because they'd forgotten how to pronounce it or something. Oh, dear. Yeah, but Lower Decks took great delight in that, so I'm looking forward to the Blue Orions.
Yes.
As they were introduced in this. And on the 28th of May, over on the Borgcast Galactica feed, we begin Season 2 of Babylon 5, covering points of departure.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yes, a lot more than I'm looking forward to Season 4 of Strange New Worlds, but there we go. I haven't seen Season 4 of Strange New Worlds, obviously, and it might actually be good. Who can tell? But I do know I like Season 2 of Babylon 5, so
yes.
Huzzah!
Yes, definitely.
So until next time, we're talking in your ears. Take care, cheery bye.
Bye-bye.
The Star Trek theme was composed by Alexander Courage and reimagined for Strange New Worlds by Jeff Russo.
Any music used in this podcast is for illustrative purposes only, and no copyright infringement is intended.
Find our website at borgcast.libsyn.com.
We have a Facebook group which you're welcome to join.
Send emails or MP3s to borgcast@gmail.com.
Find us on Blue Sky at broadcastammo.bsky.social
and revorg.bsky.social.
Shut it down!